What is up, everybody? Oh, it's Monday night, and that's normal. But what is not normal is our topic for this evening. We're going way back in the time machine, talk about the history of Youtini, why we're all here, and why we're still here. A very questionable question. But first, Youtini would be nothing without the glorious finger of West that's gonna punch it. Welcome into the Living Force, a Youtini Network podcast. I am one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight to talk all about the history of this thing we're all still doing is the full set of people that have been here sometimes and all the time. But first, the guy who has been here since day one, Dr. Formerly not Dr. Corey Helton.
This is my formal resignation from this company.
No! No!
Oh, man. We were talking before the show. This has been a trip down memory lane. I'm excited to talk about it. I hope everybody's doing good tonight.
Well, I am doing pretty great thanks to Diet Mountain Dew, not a sponsor. But I'm doing even better because Dr. Charles Hankel is here with his houseplant. Hey, man.
Yes, that is my houseplant back there. It's fake, but I got some real ones over here. I just want to say I'm tired of having episodes where it's the return of me. I just want to be here all the time. I'm sorry that I missed last week. It was a great episode. Emma filled my seat gloriously, but I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, Emma absolutely kills it all the time. It's really not fair, but we're really glad that you're back, but not nearly as glad as I am for the consistent weekly presence. Perfect attendance record, nearly. Wes Jenkins. Look at that.
Hello, everyone. Just want to let you all know that I'm having a cold front come through the Texas area starting on Wednesday. Kind of excited about it. It's going to be 84. Holy crap. It's going to be so cold.
You need a blanket?
I can't wait. And I'm
break out those
also
long sleeves.
and I'm also caught up on my reading for next week. So that's kind of a first
Ahead of schedule
for me.
That is incredible. And what a great way to remind people that next week's show will be part one of our two-part roundtable on Tempest Runner, the first audio drama of the High Republic. I think we've all finished it. Is that right? Everyone
That's
done?
correct.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm like 3 books post Tempest Runner
Dude,
at this point.
Which we want to talk about in a hot second because you had a revelation this past week about an old favorite, speaking of a history episode. But before we do, 2 quick things. One, I want to give a Living Force Youtini and personal happy belated birthday to author Emma Camden, who is the author of the upcoming Star Wars Visions Ronin novel. They celebrated a birthday this week, and in the midst of all the visions and Ronin-ness that's going on, what a great time to celebrate the person that is going to be creating the next chapter. And for those of us that have been able to start Ronin thus far, pre-order it. And that's all we can say until the end of the month. So happy birthday. And secondly, I have a confession, y'all. I lied to our audience last week. I didn't want to. I didn't mean to. I try not to. But I mistakenly said that in the Youtini Fantasy League, James had the most points last week. But the fool I was, the Monday night game hadn't happened, which is when I took the crown last week. I got the most points in our league, and this week is not important. But last week, I did get the most points, but this week actually is important because our very own Wes Jenkins is whipping some ass in the league this week with 153, possibly 167 points.
Is that true? Am I winning? Am I winning
by a
week?
lot.
That's because I got hammered on week 1, so somebody had to come back and help me out. And of course, Lamar Jackson, the unvaccinated
Demigod?
the unvaccinated individual himself, came through Came through in a big way with those legs and those touchdown passes. Good for him.
The jump passes were insane. And
It's almost like he doesn't even know how to play football with the jump passes.
no, he's playing basketball with a football. It's incredible. But what's even more incredible is the fact that our very own Jacob, who is in the chat right now, trash talking me, is playing against me. And the incredible sight is that his two running backs may combine for 10 points, and he might still beat me this week. So if you're watching live and you are religious in any way, if you could ask your deity for Mason Crosby to have less than 4 points tonight, that would be grand. All right, that's our
Ask your deity.
Whoever's listening,
God.
you know, less
if
than
you
4.
If
All
you
the
have
help you
Derrick
can get,
Henry
huh?
on your team and you lost, you definitely need to draft better next season.
Yeah, come on. That was given to you. All right, that's our Youtini fantasy update. Wes,
Okay, we're
congrats. Hell of a week for you. 2 weeks into the season, it's been super fun. And a lot of our we got a lot of 0-1 teams winning this week and a lot of 1-0 teams losing. So it's a fun time in the Youtini Fantasy League, and we hope you're having a good time in your league if you're playing as well. Corey, back to Star Wars for just a hot minute. You, like you said, you caught up in your reading. So as a reward to yourself, you went back to visit an old favorite and had quite the revelation this week.
Yeah, so I've been doing all this, a lot of sort of tedious trailer work, right? You guys have heard me talk about this. I'm building a camper out of a cargo trailer. It's all on YouTube. Documental is our YouTube channel. There's your shameless plug. For that. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of like really tedious stuff, like screwing in hinges and things that you just have to do like, 72 times, like just over and over again. So I've been listening and painting. I've been doing a lot of painting lately too. So I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks and stuff. And I picked up Rogue Squadron, and I read that last week.
The new one.
Yeah,
the new fully
the new
unabridged
one. Yeah, which is kind of cool because we haven't really talked about that. We're not a Legends show, right? We have a Legends show. Legends Look Back is on Thursdays. It's really good. It's really, really good. Like they did a full production of these new Legends books as they're coming out. And it was super good. I enjoyed going back. I didn't remember it at all. Like I virtually did not know the book. It was like I had read it for the first time. I don't remember anything that happened in it. It was crazy. I must have read that.
Well, and you said there was a specific character that shined a little
Corin,
brighter for you.
Corin Horn is a redeemable character in the book, and
oh my god!
I know. I posted it. I posted that in Slack, and somebody said, "Is this a cry for help?"
They've been kidnapped.
I know.
This is the code. We've trained for this.
Yeah, I know. So Corin Horn is not that bad of a character in the book. He's somewhat normal, but it is. I mean, it gets horny at times. It's a little inappropriate at times. Like it's
a little bit.
It's odd, but I finished Rogue Squadron, and I was just like, man, I'm in a audiobook kick right now. I want to listen to something else. So I just like scrolled back through my Audible to see what else I had already purchased that I could maybe listen to again or whatever. And I came across Darth Plagueis, and I was like, you know what? I have not read Darth Plagueis in probably 15 years. Like, I don't even know. I think it's on Audible because my wife listened to it, like when she was first getting into Star Wars books a while back, a couple years ago. And I listened to it and I blew through it, and it was like when you really get into a TV show and you're like super addicted to it, and all you can think about is the show, and like you can't focus on your job, and like you just want to, you're like watching it like on your work break. You know what I'm talking about? All right, that's how Darth Plagueis was for me this go round. And
jeez,
like.
It's a very Plagueis-esque attitude to have too, because that's how he was. That's the whole point of the book.
I know. And like, I don't know if I just wasn't like a mature enough Star Wars fan when I listened to it or when I read it the first time. I don't know if it was the audiobook production. I don't know if it was the narrator's just really deep voice, but like the Darth Plagueis audiobook is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece for me. Like, it might be in my top 3 books of all time right now. I'm just so high.
Favorite canon book?
Yeah, favorite canon book. Yeah, Freddie said that famously on the episode he came on a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, Darth Plagueis it's very, very good. And funny enough, it doesn't really counter anything in canon like super hard. There's a couple Phantom Menace things that I think the the Padme books may have kind of like retconned a little bit, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be canonized like as a story, like about Darth. I mean, Darth Plagueis is a canon character, of course. 'Cause he's in
Yeah,
the
right,
film.
sure.
You know, he's in Revenge of the Sith, but man, it was very, very good. I really, really enjoyed it. And Plagueis and Sidious are just so evil, and it's so rich. And man, I don't know. It's one of the best audiobook experiences I've ever had. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. I've never thought of Darth Sidious or I've never thought of him worse than I did reading that book.
Yeah.
He is
It's a horrific,
diabolical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like he, mild spoiler that's in like it's in a lot of other content, so it's talked about, like, but he talks about like how he kills his parents in the book, like very early on in the book. It's like in the first like 5% of the book is when it goes into all that.
Messed up.
And it is violent and dark and gritty, and the narrator just really gets it too. I forget who it is, David something, but it's like,
Yeah, I think he only
the-
did that one.
it's the only
Ortiz?
Star Wars book he's ever done, and it's really, really rich. He does mispronounce a lot of characters. Like he calls Sifo-Dyas, he calls him Sifo-Dyas. Yeah,
Sifo-Dyas.
I know.
Ah!
He mixes it mixes, and it's over and over again, and it's a little irritating. But that's the only complaint I have. Otherwise, one of the best audiobook experiences I've ever had. It was.
Man.
I'm still like high off of that. It was crazy.
Well, and you were talking about it so much this week, and it made me realize I wanted to go back to it because that was one of those that, as we'll talk about later in the episode, like when I first got in Youtini that first summer, I read it and I was like on a kick of like book, Star
Right.
Wars books, and Star Wars books, and then you do Plagueis and it's like, boom. And it took me like 3 months, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh no!" But now that I've read like 50 more books, I'm like,
know.
"Okay,
And that's what
let
I'm
me let me
saying,
maybe
like-
go back and see what it's like because it might read different."
Yeah, I think I must have been in high school or something. Just so I'm clear, just so we're clear, I have read the book before. Let's not like Darth Plagueis was very early, like when it was released, I read it, but like it's been so long, and I've never read it again, and it's really rich. And I know Luceno is a tough author for a lot of folks to really get into. This reaffirmed for me, I really do think Luceno is my favorite author that's written Star Wars. Like his vocabulary is just really rich. Like his storytelling finesse is just really deep, and minor characters get full backstories. And I think that's a turnoff for a lot of people with Luceno. I definitely don't think Darth Plagueis should be your first Star Wars book, but
No.
like, get 30 or so in and then pick it up, and it's super good. Get the audio.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I start reading that, I bet I'm going to be enraptured because I will not be immune to his charms. All right.
Oh man,
moving
that's
on to our
gold, Eric.
Man, did you come up with that on the spot? That was incredible.
I did. Thank you so much. And if you like that kind of content, give us money for it. Hey, our Patreon, we love you all. Thank you so much for your support at patreon.com/Youtini. And we want to give a shout out to a new patron we have this week, which is Alexander Hanlon, or Alexander Hanlon. I don't know, but you know I had to do it to him. Thank you for joining our Patreon, and I hope after that singing of the name and the Mune pun, you're going to stay around. And we want to remind everyone that we are so close to our next Patreon goal, which is an Attack of the Clones commentary. And we are behind the scenes now talking already about future goals because we're hitting things we never thought we would, and we want to say thank you for that, especially when we started this whole thing back in the day, which I'm just going to keep seeding that in this intro that we're going to talk about. We had no remote idea we'd ever be doing that kind of stuff, so we cannot wait to talk about Attack of the Clones, because if Corey is into anything right now with Plagueis and Phantom Menace, it's the prequels. And if
Yeah.
you can get Corey excited about it, who again notoriously hates Star Wars, you can get anyone excited. So thank you so much for that. All right, Wes, let's hit that Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
All right, biggest piece of news this week is quite obvious if you tuned into the High Republic show on YouTube last week with the amazing Christina Ariel. We got covers, y'all. We predicted it, and it was absolutely true. We're going to throw them up immediately because we got the big 3 books that are coming out. Number 1, The Fallen Star by Claudia Gray. Y'all, what was your initial reaction to this cover that has some of our favorite Jedi with some cracking glass in the background, not at all ominously?
That's right.
It's happening.
The yellow
It is
saber
happening.
is up front and center. I like
is.
it.
It was Indira Stokes.
All these books are starting to run together, and that is not just because the covers are all similar.
If you zoom in really close underneath the word star, it says light beacon in parentheses.
Oh no!
That's not true.
That's not
Just so
true.
we're clear.
But maybe it is.
Yeah, I like this cover quite a bit. It's a different artist from the first two. So it takes a second to be like, it's close, but not quite. But I like them. We got Orla Jerini, Bel Zettifar, Buryaga, who's like yelling in the back, and then Stellan and Indira on what we assume is Starlight Beacon. But I just thought this was a really beautiful, a lot of oranges and yellows, as opposed to like the more. We've had some blues previously, some purples. So I like the kind of scheme. I want to put all these covers next to each other and see how they work as a like a sequence here. Now our next one, though, I think this was my favorite, the Midnight Horizon, Daniel Jose Older's book. What do you guys think?
It looks a lot like the Celebration edition of Master and Apprentice that I have. With
Yeah,
the blues
so you
know
and
it
the
does.
whites and- yeah,
Very
this
Master and
is-
Apprentice vibes.
I love it. I love these. I love these colors. And Jose Older, this is exciting. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really, really jacked for this.
For
It's
Anakin
kinda
and
got
Obi-Wan
the vibe.
vibes.
Yeah, well, or I was gonna say Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like coming out of the smoke in Phantom Menace when they get
Yeah.
smoked
Oh,
out on
yeah.
the Transfederation ship. Feels kind of like that.
This is
And,
an adult novel, correct?
Young adult.
Young adult. Okay.
Young adult novel. So so we got Wreath, Silas, and Comac Vitus going left and right. And even though it might just be for the artistic symmetry, I'm gonna choose to say that this means that Comac is left-handed because that's fun for me. But I like how Wreath is really mature on this cover because like I feel like in Into the Dark we saw him, he was pretty young, and we've seen him evolve. And I feel like this is his moment of like it's the Obi-Wan post Phantom Menace, like you're saying, Charles. Like definitely that vibe of the boy becomes a man kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh. And this gloriously colorful cover of Mission to Disaster by Justina Ireland featuring Imri and your girl Vernestra, not Vern Rowe, with a sweeping purple lightsaber over blue teal dragons things. I think.
They're
Crocodiles.
alligators.
They're definitely
Yeah.
alligators. Yeah.
Alligator dragons.
With 4 eyes, or maybe that's both eyes, just like a flounder. It's a crocodile flounder, and both the eyes.
It might be
side.
a Maligator. There was
Maligator.
Maligators are real things in Star Wars in some obscure reference book that I can't recall, and I'm pretty sure that they are blue alligators.
Charles, if you just pulled Maligator out as a reference right now and that turns out to be
serious.
correct, I'm going to be so impressed.
Somebody had a Maligator object of some kind, like a Maligator purse. I can't remember. It was recent.
I love. You know what? Hey, you know who might have a
What?
Maligator purse? Xylan Graff and Out of the Shadows because he's super rich. That actually sounds familiar to me, and that was Justina Ireland, so maybe that's bam. I love that. Well, hey, if you heard it here first, and Charles, I'll give you credit. But again, those are coming out in January, y'all. 3.5 months. 3.5 months away. But a book that's coming out much sooner than that, we just have a little tease for you. Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil, which is coming out November 16th. We got a page count of this book. Guys, did you read the outline yet on how many
No.
pages this is?
Nope.
Okay, great. Let's go around. I want you all to guess how many pages this is. Charles, what do you think?
500.
Random guess.
500.
500. Wes?
Yeah, it's got to, since you even said anything, it's normally like 420, 430-ish around there. Yeah, 564.
All right. Corey.
I want to say 600. 600.
Yo.
Wes wins 550. It is 550 pages.
Jeez.
Do we get extra time?
So what I will say is I know our friends at Del Rey are really great. I love working with them for they are nice enough to provide a review copy for us to read earlier. If it can be more than 2 weeks before release day, would be marvelous because I do
It's not
have
gonna happen.
what we call a job. But anyway,
The
so brace
audiobook
yourself.
is watch it be like 27 hours. Ridiculous.
Smart
You
Thompson
know-
being like,
You know that Zahn could have like squeezed out another book. Like,
Oh, yeah.
He probably was just like, oh, I got to include this and this and this too. I can't forget
He's like the
this.
opposite of George R.R. Martin.
exactly. Well, that's 275-page books, you know. So, Anyway, get those pre-orders in because, as we said last week, publishing shortages are a thing. So if you want to own this tome, and it will be a tome, number one, make space on your bookshelf now. I'm running into that where I'm not leaving space. So every time I buy a book, I have to move everything. But get those pre-orders in. And last, a reminder, if you're watching live, this Wednesday, all of Star Wars Visions comes out on Disney+. That's right. We are here. It is coming on Wednesday. Every single short is being released, and the initial reactions have been fantastic on Twitter. People are saying it is super original. It is just exciting. And, yeah, guys, here's the question. Are we getting up early? Are you watching after work? Like, how are you feeling about Visions besides being surprised that it's this week?
I can't believe they're doing it all at one time. They must be... Yeah. I mean, how short are they? Do we know? They haven't really said,
I'm gonna guess
right?
8 to 12. I'm gonna guess 8 to 12 minutes, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to.
I
don't think I really want to binge it all in one go. Like, because they're all so different. I kind of want to watch one and then sit on it a little bit, maybe watch it again, and then, yeah, I don't know. We need to figure out how we're gonna do Bounty Hunt with that because we did say ages ago we were gonna do something with it. So
yeah, we'll do something with it.
We'll figure it out.
I want to watch the one I know the morning of that is. Associated with the novel Ronin.
The Duel.
I don't remember the name. The Duel. Yes,
The Duel.
I gotta watch that one first. I think.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I should have taken Wednesday off, but because I want to watch them in English, but I also want to watch them in Japanese as well. You know, just to kind of get that, see how they are, see what the vibe is. So
I wanted to watch it in Japanese first.
I love that.
I want to take that in that way.
Yeah, I'm very stoked, and of course, I'm assuming everyone listening and watching, you are also excited because this is, again, not like anything we've ever had. So stay tuned on what we're gonna do. We might do some bounty hunts about them. We might do a whole Living Force episode retrospective, depending. So we'll talk behind the scenes, but also tell us what you want. Do you want it to be a bounty hunt episode? Do you want us to dedicate a whole Monday night to Visions? Let's see. But regardless, don't be rude on Wednesday. I was about to say something different. And spoil any Visions for people. People have jobs. People have children. People need sleep. So if you're gonna tweet stuff about Visions, tag your spoilers with hashtag Star Wars Visions, hashtag spoilers, whatever it is. Make sure you're muting appropriately, all that jazz. Just we live in the internet, so be kind to people. And if you're in our Discord, we do have a Visions channel was added this week in our Discord. So make sure you use those spoiler tags and then talk to your heart's content. And of course, if you're looking to buy some books amidst all this Star Wars content, head over to our Youtini.com release schedule where you can pre-order Ronin, a Visions novel, on October 12th, Queen's Hope on November 2nd, and Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil on November 16th. A massive thank you, as always, to our buddy Frank and all those people that work on making that release schedule up to date with new book covers and new dates.
And just a note on that, Eric, I went through my pre-orders on Amazon and I canceled all of them, and I went back through bookshop.org and I ordered through them. It really is only like a couple dollars more. It helps out your local bookstore, and after you purchase, they give you a list of like your local bookstores that are close to you after you put your shipping address in. So it's super cool. So I have, I think I have Ronin and I have Queen's Hope.
Yeah.
I have those two
I cannot
pre-ordered.
keep those straight either. Don't feel bad.
But they don't have the Thrawn book up yet, so I'm checking back. I check.
That's
back.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I keep forgetting we have those.
Yeah. Try to go through that. I put the links in the Youtini description on the YouTube page. I put those for Bookshop and then Books A Million as well, so I don't just put them on for Amazon.
That's awesome. Yeah. Support local when you can, obviously. And if you go to E.K. Johnston's Twitter, she's still doing the signed copies of Queen's Hope. If you want to pre-order through a bookshop in Oregon, I believe. Now, some of these might mean you won't get your book until a couple of days later because of stuff. But we're all reading books. Books take a bit. Support who you can. I'm sure they all appreciate it. All right. We have a long history lesson, so y'all, I'm pulling an audible. We're going to do book reviews again next week, so keep going to Youtini.com, looking up your books and leaving reviews. We're going to bring those back, and I'm also lying because it's Roundtable, so we're going to get back to those at a later time. But Corey got so excited about this episode with all the Youtini history that I'm going to take a quick break now and then come back and look at that. So sit tight, grab a drink, hit the bathroom, and then come back for some Youtini history. We will see you in just a minute.
Lightsaber lamp, and I just like I just knocked over everything in my office so I could get this into the camera shot. I knocked one of the posters off the wall with
Anderson cover. I have heard the Anderson cover described by some friends of mine as one of their least favorite Legends covers, and I don't totally know why. Maybe it's just because Depa Balaba has this dead stare in the background.
You know what it is?
Emma, what is your art of the week this week?
Yeah, so I don't have anything as dark and depressing as that corpse, but
All right, welcome back, everyone. A quick reminder to those on audio or that are watching, the ad we just ran for all our live shows, all 3 of those shows are now live every single week. The Cosmic Forces on Wednesday, and Legends Look Back has returned with a brand new look and brand new faces on Thursday. Congrats to all those shows for everything they do, and congrats on Legends Look Back for returning to us in weekly format. And if you watch this week, maybe I'll be on there talking some Legends. I'm making my return to Legends Look Back on Thursday. I'm very excited. And real quick before I throw it over to Corey here, our buddy JG Carson in the chat said about Visions, some people are saying the shorts are like 15 to 20 minutes. And a publicist apparently said they recommend watching them in order. So we don't know if they may pick up on each other, but Charles, what you were going to do, don't, you dumb. All right. Corey, take us back to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Oh man, I'm excited about this episode, guys. I've been
we did it finally. 130 in. Corey's excited.
That's right. I know. It took us a long time to get here. How did we end up doing this episode? Somebody talked to us either in a message or something.
I got a Discord message about it.
Yeah.
And I got asked. You know what? Here, let me throw out that I'm looking in my here we go.
There were some mentions in the chat too throughout our episodes.
But yeah, I also got a Discord direct message from our friend SkinXNex, who said, do we have something posted about how Youtini started and the Living Force and all that? And I was like, oh, I think so, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, let's just do this, because it's been a while since we talk about it haphazardly, but we haven't had an episode where we literally walk through the steps of, frankly, this kind of crazy thing that we now is now a huge part of our lives.
Yeah. So, this episode is the history of Youtini. So we're going to talk about kind of everything we've done in the past, like how we have arrived at this moment, how we've arrived at the Living Force, like how I have a beard now and I look a lot better with it than I did as a middle school looking kid. Like,
how the logo is changed from what's behind me and on Wes's shirt to what's on Corey's shirt.
That's right. So let's talk about it. So I pulled a bunch of statistics when Eric brought this up that we should do a history of Youtini. This has been like a step down memory lane, like for sure. And I went through my phone. I found a bunch of old photos. I have all kinds of cool stuff we're gonna share, and this is really fun. So I have some statistics that I pulled for you. I thought this was pretty impressive. You guys haven't seen any of this, right? Either?
No, I don't read the outline. I just make it.
Okay, excellent. All right, so I pulled some statistics. When we did book boxes, we're going to talk about the book box a lot this episode, but when we did book boxes, I shipped over 3,000 Star Wars books back when we did that, which is crazy. I went digging through my emails with my Corey at Youtini.com, CEO Youtini.com email address, and I went back and dug through it. I have 4,449 emails in my inbox. I don't really save the junk mail either, so that's like... most of them are conversational of some kind, right, with some kind of business in them. We have sent 290,144 Slack messages.
my God.
290,144 Slack messages.
That's over 250,000
Like,
stupid messages.
holy hell,
Yeah.
that alone is very impressive. Yes. That needs to be on a resume somewhere. Like, that is crazy.
In context, probably
Wow.
like 100 of them were serious that needed stuff to be
Yeah,
done.
our actual work deadlines.
How many of those have to do with Funkos?
I
Over
know,
200,000.
seriously.
Quite a few. Oh my God.
I pulled our website analytics. We have 2.2 million page views on Youtini.com, which is
awesome.
Wow, thanks,
crazy.
y'all.
Somewhere between, my dogs are going crazy. I now have 2 dogs instead of 1.
Yep.
Best stat yet.
We
They're
have somewhere
multiplying.
we did lose a lot of analytics at one point. We have somewhere between 50 and 75,000 podcast listens on the entire Youtini network, and about 97,000 video views on YouTube. So, like, this has been going since 2017 of October, and that's crazy. 290,000 Slack messages, guys.
That's the number I'm going to remember. Like, our audience is the most important. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
But the
that's crazy.
stupid stuff we say to each other, the fact that 290, and like, you have to think, I think I'll personally take about 100 grand of those
Oh yeah,
of like just
probably.
dumb
That's
stuff that
Yeah.
I've thrown in.
I would like to see what all of our
Wow.
individual stats are. It's stupid, and we've gotten some criticism, I think, in the last couple of months about, like, we talk about Slack too much on the podcast.
We talk about it a decent amount. We're trying to pull back.
and we're trying to pull back. But let's be clear. We only share with you guys the interesting stuff in Slack. Most of Slack is, yo, Eric, you promised you were gonna write this thing, and it's 3 weeks late.
Yeah, guys. It's always Corey telling me I am late on stuff. That's the
That is
narrative.
the
Yep,
majority of
that's what happens in our Slack.
Yeah.
The
Anyway.
remix.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then when I was going through my emails and stuff too, I also sort of put together a kind of a rough timeline. This is a really short version. There's a lot more in here that we can talk about, but the short
Let's hit it.
version is this. In October of 2017 is really, I think, when Youtini, like, was created. Like, if there is a birthday, it is probably October 1st, 2017. And I think the marker of that is when I spent the first significant amount of money. And the first significant amount of money I spent was on an intellectual property attorney.
Like you normally do for media companies and podcasts.
I know, right? So, like, I don't know if you can pick a more boring businessy thing to do, but October 2nd, 2017, I paid the invoice to the IP attorney to ask them, listen, I want to start a Star Wars business. What can I say? What can I do? How can I use logos? Like, tell me everything I need to know. And I paid him a couple $100 to do that. And then like a week later, I opened the Twitter account, right? So, like, apparently whatever he said was, good enough to say, like,
I'll spend this
Go
money.
do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll tweet it.
yeah. All right. Right after that, we started doing a ton of marketing. I talked to a bunch of different folks. Shout out Temple Archives, Net Alliance, Star Wars 7x7. There's like a huge list. I used to track this back in the day of all these different people that I would like, hey, I'm starting this thing. We're launching in December. Advertise for me, basically. We released the first version of the timeline in December, about the time that the first book box came out. That was when we created the website. And then I think the biggest change that I made, we did like 2 or 3 book boxes. It was just me and my wife. Like, we were shipping them out of our apartment in Macon, Georgia. And we had...
Can you briefly tell people what the book box was as well, just in case they don't know?
Yeah.
When we say book box.
Yeah, when I say book box, like okay, let me back up a little bit. I'm going to talk about like why I started Youtini and stuff. But long story short, like we used to ship Star Wars books. I wanted to do something with Star Wars. I knew that, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit here. But essentially, like, I wanted to ship people Star Wars books, so I created the Youtini book box. Is what the original idea was. Where, like, people tell me what they like and don't like about Star Wars, I'll ship them books based on my infinite knowledge about Star Wars, right? And some of it was true, because I went into that because I wanted to. I knew a lot about Star Wars. We just lost Wes. All right, don't know what happened there.
Peace out.
Well, that cold front was coming, so
Yeah, no, that's right. The cold. Yeah, I knew a lot about Star Wars, and I wanted to sell something related to Star Wars, right? So, and Sorry, this is really distracting. All this is flickering over here.
You got this.
And we ship people books, and they started off in bags. They weren't even really boxes. They were bags. Have lots of photos and all that kind of stuff. But we had a subscription box based around Star Wars books. That's the original idea. And me and my wife were kind of responsible for this. I think the first month we had like 30 to 50 subscribers, which is pretty cool. It was a pretty good launch. I think by January for the second book box we had, I don't know, 60 or something like that. I think it went up really fast, like from like the first month to the second month. And then I think everything really kind of changed when the Fire Nation attacked in March 2018, right? So it had been like 3 months. In 3 months, I went on a podcast, another Star Wars podcast, Rebel Force Radio. You guys have probably heard of the.
Wait, no, it was earlier than March. I talked because sorry to go ahead. We contacted you in February, so you went on.
Oh yeah, you know,
early. You went on in January.
It was in January. Yeah, it was very early on. Very early on, I went on Rebel Force Radio, and which is another Star Wars podcast, and has unfortunately sort of declined in popularity a little bit in the last couple years. They've had some kind of negative comments and stuff about lots of different things. So I'm not a super big fan of the podcast anymore, but they were the largest Star Wars. Yes, misogyny, sexism, a lot of really horrible stuff. You know,
but
not really big fans of those guys anymore, but whatever. You know, I picked like the biggest Star Wars podcast, and I paid them a significant amount of money to do some marketing for us, essentially. And that was, I guess you're right. That was like in January, because on February 10th of 2018, Eric Eilerson was the first person to email me. And that was the day that it was released. You're right. I do remember that now. Yep. So Eric emailed me on February 10th. Funny enough, I didn't really realize this, but Charles, you emailed me 5 days later on February 15th. So like it was.
Did I really?
It was that early.
5 days.
I don't
Valentine's
think,
miracle.
I know. I must have had a really shitty
I was
Valentine's Day,
clearly
Charles.
not busy on that Valentine's Day because I was listening to this podcast.
Well, real quick though, I have that email, Corey, pulled
Do you
up that
really?
I sent you.
Oh my god.
Framed.
Because I used the contact form on Youtini, and the subject line was, "Everyone, this is how you become the president of a company." Hey there.
Not even hello there, first
Nope.
of all. Come on.
Hey there. I said, "I was listening to you on Rebel Force Radio this week, and this site sounds amazing!" Caps lock. I know that you're probably going to be flooded with help requests after the podcast, but I would love to throw my hat into the ring. Another exclamation point. I can't code or anything like that, but I would be more than willing to research or write articles or reviews or anything like that if you need. Let me know, and may the force be with you, Eric.
Yeah.
That was
it was
So I want to know this. Eric, what made you, when you listened to Corey on this other podcast, like what made you think like this is something I want to be involved in? Like what because we hear stuff like calls for help and ads and all stuff all the time. But what about that was like, I am emailing this guy right now.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that before or since, because I learned my lesson. But like
Gainful employment.
You know,
so tough.
10,000 hours later, here we are.
But it was, honestly, I was listening to you, man, and like I had just gotten into Star Wars books. Like I never did Star Wars podcasts, never did anything. Like it was within the previous months that I had read Lost Stars and just started, and I was like, what should I read? Like I was patient zero of what Star Wars books should I read. And then Corey came on this podcast and was like, I made a company about what Star Wars books you should read. And at the time I wasn't doing any like theater or art stuff. I was living on my own. I was kind of in this like creative rut. And for some reason, like Corey, honestly, you came on, you sounded like just like you do, like just a guy that liked Star Wars. And I'm like, cool. And it was that vibe. I'm like, oh, cool. I think I could just get along with this dude. I also had this idea that Youtini was like this this thing that has had tons of people, and I was going to be like a cog in the machine. But it was just the relatability and the product I'd subscribed to like 2 weeks earlier when I first heard about it. Then I was like, you know what? No, let's do this. Let's give it a shot. And that was it.
To be clear, like when I went on Rebel Force Radio, at that time I had Okay, so I said that the birthday of Youtini was in October. I started planning a side hustle of some kind in about June of 2017, right? So I basically spent 6 months, like, you guys know how I am about learning stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I spent
It's
6
ready
months.
when it's ready is the Corey
Yes.
way.
I spent 6 months learning how to be a businessman. Let's be clear. Like, I've always had a lot of interest in entrepreneurship and stuff, but like, I spent like
While
a full,
in medical school.
Yeah,
Let's
I
be
know,
clear.
I know. Yeah. I spent a lot of time, like literally every moment I was in the car, I was listening to a podcast. Like, I got so burnt out on it. Like, I haven't really done a whole lot even since then. Like, but I read like 15 marketing books. Like, I just went crazy, right? And so by the time I decided to drop like $2,000, I think is what I paid Rebel Force Radio. It was a lot of money. Like to jump in a company while I was in medical school living off of student loans, right? Like, like when I was ready to drop $2,000, like it was a pretty decent ad campaign. It wasn't just like, hey, they had me on for like 15 minutes as part of an interview. It wasn't
was
just
a while.
that. It was like, I had all these little like fake question and answer things where I told them what I wanted them to record in a question form, and then I recorded the answer separately. So, and it did seem like a large company, and that was my intention, right? That was the intention.
Yeah,
to become
it worked.
professionally like that. Yeah, and it worked. And I've gone back and listened to those ad campaigns and still been like, this was really smart. Like, because I think Rebel Force Radio was really what kicked us off more than anything else, because the team was born from that. So like I said, Charles, sorry, Eric, you want to say something?
I was gonna say, I was gonna give Charles the same question you just threw at me, because I didn't know you were 5 days after. That's wild. I had no clue it was that close.
Yeah, I didn't either. And funny enough, I also have his email pulled up. I had your email pulled up too, Eric, and I had Charles. I have your email pulled up, and you said, "Hey there!" Exclamation point.
Yo, even hello there.
Oh man! And you said, "Heard about y'all on Rebel Force Radio." Appropriate now because Eric's on the team. There's two of us.
Right there.
And also, that's how you knew Charles was immediately from the South.
Yes. Heard about y'all on Rebel Force Radio. I'm a fellow third-year medical student and a huge Star Wars fan. In parentheses, obviously. But
Good to make that clear. Good.
I love to write in my free time. Couldn't help but notice many of my passions lining up with what you guys are doing. That being said, I would love to help you out with writing any way possible with the Youtini magazine. That's one of the things that was in the book box. And if y'all are interested, please contact me at the email listed above. Thanks in advance. And my reply was, I will absolutely talk to another third-year medical student alone on principle. and I sent you a link to my calendar schedule so you could book like a 30-minute chat. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I remember. I think you got back to me pretty quick too, because. But yeah, to answer the question, I guess I initially posed, it was literally exactly what I said in the email. It was that, like, here's another person who's literally on the same like life track as me, who has one of my biggest passions, and who's probably doing some of this at least to escape from what is
medical
the awfulness a lot of
What
times
I also
in medical
hate.
school and medicine. And I just needed that. I needed that thing. I think weirdly, in a lot of ways, Youtini kind of like got me through medical school and through a lot of residency to this point too, just to have that non-medical thing that's important to me, that's a constant. So yeah, I think it was just seeing what I loved kind of lining up with what I thought was a massive company, and that I found out was just Corey. But we got on that call, and I think I will say this. I think you asked me, I'm not sure, to write like a sample piece. I know I wrote one. I don't know if that came from you or if I just did it on a whim. And it was talking about all the aspects of the Solo film that were taken from the AC Crispin trilogy, which is very on brand for me. But I remember we spent the majority of that call really just talking about med school and that kind of stuff. Like, we really didn't talk about the business aspect that much, but we got on well. And here we are.
Yeah. Now, funny enough, I had no idea this was buried in my inbox. But Wes, you emailed me not about joining the team, but you emailed me less than 2 weeks later than these two guys joined the team.
What?
Yes.
God.
Completely unrelated to working for us. You didn't email me. I found that email also. You didn't email me about joining the team until April of 2019. So a full year later, right, basically. But you emailed me literally right after I was on Rebel Force Radio. Did you know that? Do you remember that?
I think I did. I think I do remember, but I know I asked y'all were looking for feedback on the boxes.
Yes, and that's what I said or something like that on the podcast. Yeah, so I had your email. All right, so I'm going to read it. You said, "Good morning!" exclamation point.
Dang it!
Are you sure you didn't say hey there?
Oh, wait, he said, "Hey there,
That's how you
good
get
morning."
on here.
Yeah, I know. He said, "I love what you're doing here, and I'm looking forward to signing up." He's not even a freaking customer yet. All right, first of all,
I look forward to trying you out.
I was trying to see if you were a jerk.
Man, I heard about you on Rebel Force Radio and was wondering if any of the Star Wars comics will be added. I'm not sure what that was supposed to say. Will be added as part of the monthly subscription. I hear all the small snippets of this happen in the Marvel Star Wars comic, or that happened in one of the Poe Dameron comics. I'm just wondering if that's a possibility. Thanks again for creating this great service. Wes, you are the one that put comics into my eye.
Whoa!
Yes, I had never even considered doing something with Star Wars comics at that point, and I literally remember this because I didn't know this was you. I remember a guy emailing me to be like, "Hey, what about Star Wars comics?" And sure enough,
It
was
more
you.
than once too.
It was you.
More than once.
I know. This is an email. This is an email chain. Yeah, this is an email chain. And my response to you was, "Yeah, of course we thought about comics, like blah blah blah, right?" But that wasn't true. That wasn't true. You were the first person
but I lied.
to ever
That was
ask
a lie.
me about comics. Yeah, and like so I learned about comics because of you, basically, Wes. So like trade paperbacks and graphic novels. How the hell does all that work? Like I did that because you emailed me. So that's
fantastic.
funny.
I feel like a proud dad.
And that's so funny that I did not know that, like, one, that you emailed me so close to these two a-holes emailing me. And
That's right.
two, like, you were the comics guy. Like, what the heck? That's crazy.
And to be fair, I had never read any of the comics, but I did order a lot of the graphic novels from the book box instead of the actual books. But what I was trying to do, I was trying to get a free comic out of you on every other book box, because
You clearly did not know Corey well.
it would be super cool if you just surprised everybody with like a random comic, right?
Wow.
To be
And then,
clear,
like,
I did try to
somebody
do
on the-
comics. I did try it, and it was virtually impossible with a book box
Diamond is
subscription.
awful.
Diamond is awful, and now no longer controls Marvel, which is interesting, but that's the whole thing.
So we're going back to the book boxes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's how we. That's right. But that's how we
like
all
that
came.
Wes emailed you and was like, "Hey, I for sure don't want to work for you, but
Send me some
I wanna do
comics.
that.
The only when I emailed about a position a year later, that's because you were asking for help for volunteers,
I was
and
asking for help.
I didn't take the initiative like I should have and be like, hey, let me be a part of this, and I did not do that. Like you two smart individuals sitting above me.
I know. Now, and also, something else I should say that was very interesting about that Rebel Force Radio interview that I did is that we did not plan to say at the end of the interview, "Hey, this is how to contact me." That was not in the script. In fact, I sent them a list of questions that they could ask me with like kind of example answers, and that was not part of the script at all. At the very last thing of the interview, which it was all very rushed, it made me very uncomfortable, like to go on that show because they were in the middle of a recording. I don't know what the hell kind of weird system that they did, but they were in the middle of a podcast recording, and I was like a call in, like a radio, like a radio person call. It was really weird. And then so they're recording, so they did the interview and they kicked me out of the call. It was just super weird. Like, I don't know. It was a strange experience. And so I was like kind of under pressure, and I think it went fine. The interview did. But I know.
Pressure.
At the end of the interview, one of the guys asked me something like, "This is really cool. I mean, do you need any help? Can anybody contact you?" And I just spur of the moment said, "Yeah, sure, whatever. People can help me or whatever. It's CEO.Youtini.com." That's how that happens. Like, and
Wow. An
all
improv
three,
built
yes.
you a company.
It did. All three of you guys emailed me because of that stupid thing. So that's crazy. And that was all very, very early in the book box history.
Yep.
A lot happened in that year, I think. Like that was January, February 2018. We built up book boxes, and by I don't know. I guess we had a RPG game in there somewhere. Like
We
a
had
lot
live
happened.
streams going. I
experimented
wrote
a
for the
lot.
magazine. At one point, I was writing 3 articles a month for the magazine. We were printing. I also moved about 4 or 5 times during that year, so my
That's-
book
oh my
boxes
God,
always
that
kept
was
going to the
awful.
wrong place.
It was awful.
Half those 290,000 Slack messages are me giving Corey my new addresses to make sure that my book boxes
Can we
would go.
show? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this
That's
is
what I was going to do next. I was going to show some of the pictures. But yeah,
Yes.
that's what they looked like.
This is what the boxes look like.
Wow.
This is one of the OGs without Youtini branded tape. Okay,
That's right.
because that came later.
Wow, the relic.
Corey, do you have pictures and stuff of the magazines?
I have
and
a
all
ton of
that?
I have a ton of pictures, and before we
Sweet.
progress further into the history of Youtini, when we discontinued the book boxes, I want to show you a whole bunch of stuff from those early days because it's crazy. All right, so let me pull this up here. So I have this view with all of our faces in it too. So this is like, I think my wife drew this. I'm pretty sure.
It's a pretty good lens, Peter.
I'm sorry about what I said about it earlier. Then
Caitlin, you're great. Corey sucks.
Yeah, okay,
Sorry.
so I think, quite frankly, I think Caitlin gets most of the credit for the name, funny enough. Like, we were brainstorming, like, what's it called when a word sounds like another, is it
Homonym?
onomatopoeia?
homonym. No.
What's an onomatopoeia? I don't know what that is.
It's
What
when
is
it's
that?
a sound, like
That's
bang.
a sound word.
Yeah,
like
okay,
bang,
that's
bam,
it. That's
boom.
it. That's what we wanted. We wanted an onomatopoeia, and I wanted to pick something that was inherently Star Warsy. But the word Youtini is really hard to spell. First of all, it's Utinni is how you spell the Jawa sound. That's what the subtitles
That's
say, which is interesting. And also, Youtini.com, the website, the URL is taken, so I couldn't use that. And
Well, there it is.
Yeah, so we settled on the name Youtini, and because it was like we're delivering boxes to you. I played with a lot of like little, catchphrases and stuff. None of them stuck. None of them were any good. So I didn't use any of those. But this is the original drawing of like kind of what we wanted the logo to be. I sent this to a friend of mine. Grace Patterson was her name. She was a graphic designer I went to college with. And I said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. What do you charge me to throw a logo together? And she created that original logo, which you see behind Eric. It looked a little bit different back then. It didn't have the little moisture evaporator in it. It just had something else. I think it was just a plain like letter I or whatever.
Yeah.
This one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the sticker.
That was the original. So this was where the name came from. This is one of the first things we created. And the second thing that we did, I also sent this to Grace when I had her put together our logo, is I dug this up. This is a Pinterest board that I found when I first started Youtini of what I wanted the brand to look like. And I remember I had done all this research about branding and colors and themes, and this is very interesting, I thought, to go back and look. There's metals, there's lots of Rogue One leathers, woods, like bricks
We were
and
so
stones.
much busier back in those days.
I know,
My
man.
Goodness.
It really was busy, and like lots of Rogue One themed stuff with the.
You were in
it's
a mood.
all-
It works.
Yeah. And this is what
Yeah.
everything was based around. That's where that original logo came from. Like, so the little lines in the original logo is kind of inspired by like some of the Boba Fett lines that are on like his costume and stuff. There's a little, you probably can't see it from this thing, but on his helmet, there's there's lines like on the edge of his helmet. That's where the eye came from, right? So it was inspired by like Star Wars. We really put a lot of branding effort in stuff, and I have a bunch of photos from the early days of the book box. Look at this. So this is my dog Ray. She was still a puppy.
Hi, baby.
And I thought this picture was interesting because what Ray is laying on, there's a bunch of stuff in this photo. These are all different subscription boxes. I subscribe to a bunch of them. My book box, like I bought like 1 month of like 10 different book boxes to figure out what other people do, what works, what doesn't work. What their inserts look like all kinds of stuff, and they were just all over my apartment. And Ray loved boxes for some reason. She would just like sleep next to them when she was a puppy.
Boxes are great.
Yeah, so I took a lot of inspiration from a lot of other stuff. And then I first started ordering books. So I partnered with Del Rey. I had to get like a wholesale account, and they shipped me all these boxes. And I got to tell you, when I started getting huge full boxes of just like 50 copies of one Star Wars book, I was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Like,
It's a great feeling.
it was like, I don't know what it was about getting these boxes, but I felt just so special getting these crisp, clean boxes, and they all had these "do not open" before the embargo date, right? Where I wasn't allowed to look at them and stuff, and it was cool.
I
to
have
see
one of those Canto bites now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
gave me
This,
one of
this is
those.
I had to buy a bunch of new bookshelves in my house, and they all looked like this with just tons and tons of Star Wars books on them. And this is the original book box. Was a bag, right? This is, I think, the January. I'm pretty sure this is January. That's the first
Media
month
mail.
we did.
That's because you were like, oh, it's media mail. I can
Yeah.
do this for super cheap.
I did. I broke the rules because media mail is technically supposed to be for educational material, but a bunch of other book subscription boxes all do it. So that's one of the reasons I did it. And it saved me a fortune on shipping. But yeah, they were in these bags
So
or
everyone,
whatever.
shut up. If you're listening to this, don't shut up.
No, nobody
Don't
call
tell.
the post office on me. I know.
That's right.
I've done it before shipping eBay items. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, so we had these bags or whatever, and that's what I put. And there was a magazine. I think I showed that last episode actually of like we had this like I don't know, little 10, 20-page magazine with little articles and stuff. Oh yeah, there's one.
There it
Wes.
is. Wes has one.
Yeah, nice.
I have a whole bunch of them.
I have a whole box of them over here still of like old magazines.
wow.
and
I
stuff.
actually,
That's what my
I was-
box is.
Is this
I was
magazines?
done. I was done reading
Well,
one of the
it's all
magazines, and I put it in the recycle bin. I was like, I'm done with this. And then, like 2 hours later, I went back into the recycle bin. I got a full size trash can recycle bin. I had to like go into and pull this thing out. I was like, I can't depart with this yet.
Good. Mine are
kept it.
somewhere in this apartment, I
Wow,
think.
look
Oh my
at
God,
that.
Charles, look at that selection.
Yeah. Yeah, we had all this custom
Yeah, man.
artwork done, and we shipped this little magazine. That was like a key part, and by far the most work of the book box, right?
Oh my God, it took a lot of work.
Yeah, and they went in these bags. And funny enough, Eric, your friend Ian Bird, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Ian. We shipped him something. I can't remember what it was, but he
was a
emailed me
comic.
like, yeah, okay,
It was a
that was
comic.
when we started doing trade paperbacks because of Wes, by the way. When we started doing trade paperbacks, I shipped him one of these in these bags, and it got totally destroyed. And you know, as you guys know, everybody's always posting in their Amazon reviews or whatever, like, "Oh, this sucked. It got all broken." I'm like, that has nothing to do with the item. All right, that's the post office.
Yeah.
You have no control whatsoever about what the post office does, right?
Nope.
And it was destroyed. And Ian is the reason we went to boxes, right? But
Instead of bags.
instead of bags. But yeah, look at all these photos. Here's some close-ups of the items. There was a
Gosh.
pin. There was these little cutouts and bookmarks. Bookmarks. Were
I got all the
key.
pins on my pin boards in my dining room.
Oh, yeah.
I think I have like 9 or 10 of them. These
Nice.
little pins. They're
Yep.
great.
And then I would
I will
carry.
say now, if you find, here's a plug. If you find us at Celebration this year, if it doesn't get canceled, we will probably have some of these pins on us. If you want to come say hi,
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
give you a pin.
There's no problem about it. I have a huge box of Youtini stuff that I'm taking
All
to
right.
Celebration with me. I
If
get
you
rid
find
of.
us at Celebration, we'll give you the pins that literally aren't printed anymore.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and then I would take all these bags and pack them up in these little boxes and take them to the post office. And they were like, "What the hell are you shipping?" I'm like, "Mind your own business."
You're a post office.
Here's my lovely wife helping me package some of these up. I think this was the second or third month, and I'm not sure if you can tell in these photos, but there are signed. These are signed copies. They gave us these little printed.
Oh yeah.
Ray Carson. I had arranged to get the autographs from the authors by that point, which is pretty crazy to be that early.
That was
and
really
doing
cool.
that.
All our Thrawn alliances and all our most wanteds were signed.
That's right. Oh, here's a video of the early days. Oh my God.
Oh God, let's make sure
All
this
right.
audio's going in because
I know.
this is tremendous.
No sound is coming through. Let me see what I have to do to make the sound come through.
Because these were, so while you're figuring that out, this was when we were still like, hey, we're doing these boxes, but we weren't doing any live stream content. We weren't really doing video content. And Corey was like, just putting stuff out on like Facebook now and then, and like being like just like basic advertising.
All right, I think it's working now. Yeah.
All
We
right,
were
let's
just
check this
doing
out.
basic advertising. Let me see if this is working. I think it is.
What's up, guys? So we
it is.
are getting ready to scan out all the inventory for the entire month, for the month of October. I just kind of want to give you an idea of like kind
Look
of
how
how that
young
works.
I
So,
look, guys. Holy
God,
crap.
this little
Charles,
baby
we
boy
have these
hasn't seen a
huge
single
bookshelves
COVID patient.
full of all the
We
Star
sure this
Wars
wasn't
books, right?
MySpace?
Just tons of them. They're too deep. I don't know if you can see.
Nice
it.
vertical video, bro.
I
There's,
know. It was
one
for
here and then one
Instagram,
back
I
behind
think.
it also. So the books are too
Wow.
deep already, and we got a scan gun right here. So what we do is after we print off all the labels, which there's a ton of them, I just have a huge stack of huge stack of labels sitting right here.
Oh my God, the laptop hadn't built a
I
PC
have
yet.
A checklist of what books everybody's getting, right? So, what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna reference the
You
checklist.
wearing a Lord of the
and then pull their
Rings
books
themed
off
shirt?
the
Yeah, it's a Lord of the
bookshelf
Rings
as I
shirt.
go, and then I'll scan them as I go. When I say I really mean my wife, Caitlin. She's really the mastermind behind all this logistic genius.
Good thing you put
all
a
of
ring
these
on it
books,
before this all
believe it or
happened.
not,
I'm just
they're
saying.
Probably, oh man, I bet there's 500, 1,000 books on this bookshelves right now. All of these books are in alphabetical order. All of them are. We got Aftermath up here, Battlefront. Yeah, Caitlin is a mastermind behind all that.
Oh my
I
gosh.
definitely don't have the patience for that. So, so we take them off the bookshelf. We give them a scan, and they go in the in the stack to go out. So then we pack the boxes next. Also, my dog Ray. Yes, named after the Star Wars character. My dog is obsessed with the scan gun because it looks like a laser. Let me show you. This is hilarious. Look at her. She tries to chase it.
That's actually legitimately adorable. I love that a
I think
lot.
my dog's actually a cat. Anyway, behind the scenes, Youtini, getting ready for October. I hope you guys are stoked.
Branding.
So, may the fourth be with you.
Jokes.
There it is. Well, it's funny because I remember back in the day, the deals were pretty good as far as cost goes, because you could get a hardcover canon book of the new one, or you could get a paperback trilogy of canon. I got the entire Aftermath trilogy one month, or you could get the Legends. The choices you got eventually, because as time went on, you kept giving more and more choices, and then that ended up being more and more work, which again, unfortunately, led to the eventual downfall of the book boxes. But just when you're actually selling them at cost, you were able to give so many books and fill so many bookshelves. It was wild.
Yeah, and that inventory stuff was the biggest thing. I mean, that was pretty much that was the lesson I learned from all that is I am never doing a business that requires any sort of inventory management. Any sort of logistics or anything like that is just not my thing. It was not fun at all. Figuring out shipping and keeping track of everything. By this point, which is probably about halfway through 2018, I was in September right now. I had figured out that the barcodes on the back of the books, just for the record, is the ISBN number. That's the barcodes are numbers. That's what they are. You scan them and they're just numbers, right?
There's numbers.
It's the ISBN number. So I figured out using some fancy Excel document stuff that I could scan it, make it populate in there, and it would take it out of my inventory. So I just built this inventory management system. And it was so much work. Holy crap. It was so much work. And I was never going to do that again. I'm never doing that again. Never doing it again. It was
never
awesome.
again.
In the book boxes for the in the magazine themselves, Corey would place these cards. These cards that are in Arabish, and you had to decipher the code and then send it back through email. And you would win a prize, or maybe pick to win a prize for your next book box. And I never got picked, but I would sit at work at 8 a.m. every morning when I got this in, and I would just be like, okay, A is this, and I just flip back and forth, and I finally got it. And I was just like,
remember to drink your Ovaltine.
Yes, I remember drinking Ovaltine.
We had people at this point. There were some folks that were constant unboxers that would do unboxing videos, and it was
Patrick,
and they
Patrick
sent
did.
Patrick.
Yep.
Our Jedi High Council member Patrick, every month there'd be an unboxing video, and people would take photos. And I remember one of the coolest moments in this era of Youtini for me was writing these and getting these magazines and seeing my name on a printed byline. And all our stuff's digital now. Obviously, it's so much easier. I love writing reviews for Youtini. It's an honor to be able to read these books and put our voices out there. But something about holding a physical thing and seeing your name on it and that it was print. There's just something about that, to be clear, we are not bringing back. But at the moment, was just super cool. It's incredible, and it made me feel as close as I'll ever feel to an author seeing their book printed. Wow, look at all these pictures.
Look at
the canon
I
sign.
know, the canon sign. it got to the point where we would have to move all the furniture out of the way in our apartment and label different areas of the apartment of this is the canon book section, this is the master box, this is the legend.
Well, I do that
stuff.
anyway now with all my books. I mean, isn't that what you do as a Star Wars fan?
It was crazy. It was crazy. And I looked everywhere for it. I have a speed video somewhere of me packing all the boxes, and I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere for it. So I don't know where
somewhere.
I don't know where it's at, but yeah, it would take like several hours. You know, Emily Daybeck on the team, now a host on Legends Look Back. Her and her husband Mike were our neighbors across the hall from us, and we would con them into coming over and helping us pack all the book boxes and stuff.
Hey, you want a 6-pack of beer and 4 hours of labor?
I mean, that's pretty much what we did. And like, you know, they would do everything else except for the books. The books were so specific, and there's like, you know, even when you're packing like 300 boxes, like there's still a loose association in my brain because I've seen the names enough and played with the handled the books of that specific person enough that I kind of know, right? That I could tell. Like this happened multiple times when I would be packing boxes. Like I'd be like, this doesn't seem right. Something is weird. And I would like go pull my notes up, and sure enough, I would have forgotten a book that was supposed to go in that person's box. So it was just
But they got them.
It was chaos, dude.
They got those, and also I don't think we've shown these yet. They got bookmarks that match the artwork. I still use these for every book I read.
Same.
Absolutely.
Me too.
They're just a blast. So
this is my buddy Roman. He was my roommate in college.
Oh
one
my
of the
God,
short
that's
Corey's.
Roman.
It is one of
Look
the
how short Corey is.
Okay,
It's ridiculous.
all right. First of all, Roman is like 6'7". Okay, so yes, I am short.
And you're in the back of the picture. At least stand in the front. Give
I
yourself
know,
a chance.
I know.
That was a power move by Roman.
It was. Roman was one of the original founders of Youtini. I mean, he was involved in a lot of the early graphic design work. He was in Slack back in the day, and like he's not nearly as big a Star Wars fan as the rest of us are now, but like he was just involved in a lot of the graphic design part, and it was a lot of fun to have around. He did a lot of the photography early on that went in the book boxes. And we skipped class in medical school. I called in sick because I got free tickets to go to this big subscription box like convention in Denver, Colorado, and
I remember this. Wow,
yes, and I was
so hyped.
It was so I learned a great deal at that conference. It was one of the biggest things that I did. It taught me a lot about scaling, and I learned a lot. But me and Roman just literally dropped everything and went, and we had like 3 days notice. Like our plane tickets were a fortune. Like it was ridiculous.
But
then also,
we
just went.
And at this point, from the site point of view, because all the stuff was going on, but we had the site still. Youtini.com was going, and there were some projects digitally. We were like, I was writing articles, and we were doing stuff that was like trying to bring people to get to the boxes. So it was like all pseudo-tailored content, but not super tailored content.
It was a balance.
And we were all, and then we were like, I remember you had me build this in the summer. I had this giant project, which is still on the site, where if you entered in your email address, you would get this ultimate guide to Star Wars canon. It's so out of date. It's 2 years old, but I spent weeks on this thing, just formatting and writing every canon book categorized, and now of course it's taken off exponentially. But it was interesting because the boxes were still the main thing we had to drive to. And then, of course, the Fire Nation attacked again, and everything changed.
Yeah, everything changed after that subscription box. And this was in like June, I think, of 2018, and we had grown a lot since then. I'd really figured out everything. And this is when we made the move to boxes. I was so moved by this conference that I bought a huge order of like 5,000 boxes. That's how you get them for cheap. And I dropped like $4,000 or something on boxes, right? It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. And we had these stamps, and this is what we did. We stamped all the boxes by hand. Caitlin is helping me stamp all the boxes right here. And
wow,
just hundreds of boxes. We would stamp these dang things, and our shelves grew exponentially. So did our comfort level with this. This is the box. This is the final version of the book box.
With the duct tape, with the tricolored tape.
With the special tricolored tape. That's like special tape. It's the kind that Amazon uses, right? It's like a fabric in it, and like that was a big risk to do this because there's a single piece of like 8-inch tape that holds that entire box together, right? So I had to buy like really nice tape. I learned everything there is to know about freaking tape. It was stupid. And I still have I have a whole roll of this stuff. Yeah, and you have to use like a sponge. You have to get it wet and then do it. Mike and Emily would come over and help us pack all these dang boxes up. And we had hundreds of them. I think at peak we had like 300 subscribers, I believe, which is oh god. my love-hate relationship with iJedi goes way back. Let me tell you, this was somebody had gotten it, and I don't.
For some reason, I thought that was Charles.
You just felt it.
And this is what the boxes looked like. We would pack them in the apartment.
Wow,
and
that's a lot.
Yeah,
Awesome.
This is us packing up the boxes.
And there's Corey as a 12-year-old.
There I am.
That's right.
Again. Oh man, a beard really aged me, guys. But yeah,
It
so
did.
that was the book boxes, and then at the very end of 2019, we did the book boxes for a year. Can you believe that was only a year? That seemed like it was
only
so
a
long.
year,
It seemed like it's longer.
And it was
seemed
2
like
years
so long.
ago.
Oh my god, it seems like Youtini's been around forever. First of all, and it seems like the book boxes just never ended. I think that's a testament to how miserable it was.
Yeah, that's on you, bro. We
I
were
know.
like, hey, up another box.
Then I will never forget this. On Christmas of 2019, a lot had been building up, and us being in medical school, we had Christmas off. That's why I was working on Christmas, right? I was doing Youtini stuff on Christmas. On Christmas Day, December 25th of 2019, I had finally finished. I've been working on analytics for like 3 weeks or so. I finally finished my analytics, which led to the conclusion of we can't do this any longer. This is not sustainable. I'm starting residency in July of next year. There is no way I'm going to be able to do this and work like 60 or 70 hours a week. I mean, I was probably putting 30 to 40 hours a week into it at that point. And we were making good money. I mean, we had probably $5,000-$10,000 of revenue every month. Like, it was a lot. And, 40% profit.
But then Corey did send us the Dear John letter of we gave it the old college try team. And it was really beautifully Charles has the
I saved this letter. It's in my box of Youtini memorabilia.
Put that up to the camera.
This is a full letter.
Yeah,
It's
I
long.
wrote
to the
It's
team.
signed.
I wrote a real letter, yeah.
It's signed by Corey. Can I read it? Like a couple
Please.
sentences from this.
Please.
No, I'm not
Read
gonna
the whole thing. I haven't seen it. You can read the whole thing if you wanted to.
You want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah, read it.
Okay.
I haven't read this since
All right.
I wrote it, I don't think.
So at the top, there's a quote, and it says, "You can't stop the change any more than you can stop the suns from setting." Just to set the mood. It says, "To my team, my fellow Star Wars fans, and most importantly, my friends. What a ride it's been. Nearly 1 year ago, most of you heard me on Rebel Force Radio where I casually mentioned that I was starting a thing called Youtini. I paid a decent amount of money for that advertising, and it did indeed put us on the map. However, I had no idea it would lead us to build such an incredible team. I didn't even intend to ask for help in that interview. It more or less just came out. Nevertheless, you guys came out of the woodwork. Eric was the first to be interviewed, if I remember correctly. For the record, I'd never interviewed someone before. I hadn't figured out onboarding, communication, or anything really. Just that there apparently were a lot of fans out there like me who wanted to be involved. Rick came next, and then the rest of you came on board one by one, and man, we figured things out fast. I really wanted to write this letter to thank you. Thank you for your encouragement, for your generosity, and your commitment to something that put no money in your pockets and seemed to end as soon as it began. Thank you for being with me from the beginning and for staying until the end. I consider you all so much more than just my team or my work colleagues. It feels like we're a family. I feel like I know your personalities and details about your personal lives, and you've made me a better person because of it. You've taught me about leadership, about paying attention to play as much as work, and you've taught me about business, about what it's like to lead a company and develop goals and strategies for success. You've taught me lessons that will carry over into my medical practice one day, and I will never forget the people who I learned them from. Thank you for that. This is not the end. Perhaps it's just the beginning of something bigger than us. I don't know what Youtini will become, but the vision is still there and the passion is still there. Star Wars is so much more than a film series to us, and you all know that. All we can do is continue going forward one step at a time. I'm just so thankful for what we have done already. May the Force be with all of us always. Your forever grateful friend, Dr. Corey Helton. No, he didn't write doctor, but he did write Corey Helton.
I'm going to cry.
So Corey,
man.
real question. When you wrote that, did you actually think we were going to evolve into something else?
No, I had no idea that I wrote that on Christmas. I remember writing it. It was really hard to write, and I mailed it to everybody if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you did. We all received physical copies.
Yeah, I sent it to you. Yeah, and it was a big deal because everybody signed on to participate in the book box thing, and I personally was essentially responsible for all of the really crappy parts of the job, other than the writing and stuff like that, right? So for me to pull the plug, it felt like I was pulling the plug out from everybody, right? So it was a really emotional decision.
Yeah.
And I waited a couple days. I didn't send it to you guys on Christmas, but I waited a couple days, and then that's when I think I posted it in Slack about what we're gonna do and that sort of thing, and we started the conversation.
But then,
then
2019 happened, which remember we all thought 2019 was such a rough year, and at least 2020 will be better. Children we were.
In
But
2019 in the spring, we totally relaunched Youtini. We relaunched the website. We put a lot of planning into what are we going to do going forward. We decided we're going to do podcasts. We're going to be a media company. We're going to launch a video team.
Well, because we figured out, you said, hey guys, what we're going to do is we're going to become the place for Star Wars books and comics online. That was before we talked about any kind of media, we were like, the database was first. It was the database and the timeline. Those were the two things that we were going to create. We were not concerned about reviews yet. We didn't think we were going to score anything. We weren't going to do anything, but we're like, you know what? The thing that people came to us in the first place for, we can't stop that. We need to tell people how to get into Star Wars books and find them. And then you went to Star Wars Celebration and you're like, hey guys, we need to do a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just really distilled down. I mean, we took there was a lot of reflection, a lot of meetings. We got together a lot of just like, what is Youtini? What is the essence of what we do? And we just decided that we're teachers. Like we have all the information already. We've assembled an incredible team of experts, essentially. And like, let's just give the information away for free, right? And like, I think I remember telling you guys the money will come. One day, the money will come. I used to say that, and it did.
You pulled the Mark Zuckerberg in the social network at the beginning. It's like, it's got to be cool.
I did.
It's got to be cool first.
So we just put all this work into the website, and the website evolved. Then we moved to Webflow, and I learned how to be a web designer in like, a week. And
you did. All the design that you see with the color palette, the everything, how the site web pages, home pages look, that's all been Corey at various stages of being like, it's all gonna change. Okay, you said it.
Of mania. Various stages of mania. I do not have a diagnosis of bipolar, but I certainly probably live on the spectrum somewhere, right? And I do have I have these periods of just energy that I just can't do anything with, right? Where I can just master something in a really short amount of time. It's a gift, all right? I'll freely admit that. And we learned how to be a media company. In mid 2019, we launched, and it was astronomical growth from there. By Christmas of 2019, we had on the regular 20,000 visits a month on the website. We were making several $100 off of Amazon sales, and like now Youtini more than pays for itself. It's fantastic. We've got all nice gear. All of our podcasts are suited. Like it's really, really cool to like have done this thing like that's all about Star Wars books, and like we launch a video team. We launch another podcast like the Cosmic Force, and we just drop $1,000 worth of gear for them so they can start off with the professional level that we're at. That we were not able to start with.
The behind the curtain a little bit of like our goal for Youtini is, so none of us personally make any money on Youtini. Like that's our goal has always been that we don't, because we back in the day we were absolutely putting in money to make the site work, because server costs and the stuff, like we want to have good quality, so it costs money. But now all of you that either watch it on YouTube and watch the ads, or get stuff through the affiliate links on Bookshop or Amazon, or our Patreon especially, like you're the reason that the site servers stay going. The technology on our new shows like Cosmic Force, or if Legends Look Back, or anyone needs new gear, they can get it. The lighting starts at a good place. Like all of it goes back into the company, because we want to make sure that the product we were giving from day one wasn't just the blue snowball mic that I definitely started with when we began the Cosmic Force.
And we showed that, I think, on episode 100, I think, right?
We did.
We went back and showed some of the early days of Living Force, and we had to figure out podcasting. That was crazy.
Yep.
So remember, I was going to my first Comic-Con down here in Houston, and I decided to make flyers for the podcast and just hand them out to all the different booths and at the podcast stage.
Isn't that so uncomfortable, Wes? Oh my God.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, there it is.
This is like the original little flyer. I still have logo. Like 100 of these.
Wow.
But
fantastic.
Yeah, so like I would hand them out to people, and they were like, "I don't want that." And like,
I know it sucked, dude. I did a lot of that. I did a lot of that early days in Youtini. Like
"Hey,
I would
here you
go.
Here
I
you
went
go."
to. I went to a. I forgot about this. You brought it up. I went to a. The opening night of Solo, a Star Wars story, at a theater.
That's right.
Yeah, and I set up a booth and a table and like answered questions and advertised. Not a single person. I would have known. Because the address would have been local, right? Not a single person, and hundreds of people that asked me questions. Not a single person subscribed to the damn box. And like, nails in the coffin. Nails in the coffin. All right.
Because we figured out what we have all kind of learned from each other, and what all y'all that actually listen to us doing this crazy stuff have proven is like we're all just looking for community. And once we realized that community was the center of the whole thing, it all just kind of fell into place, because we're like, what? Every single decision we've made since January of 2019 has been like, what does our community want? How do we give it to them at the best quality? That's why we made a Discord. That's why we made a YouTube channel. That's why we make podcasts. That's why we write reviews. Like, it's all because what do people want to do to enhance their Star Wars journey? And we're like, all right, great.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to do that in a good way.
And we're still seeking all that feedback, by the way. So if there's something you're looking for on the site, always
we have a feedback channel.
Never hesitate to reach out to us. Email us or talk to us on the website. Talk to us on Discord. Like whatever. Like tell us what you want. I mean, we're still doing that thing. I mean, and now it pays for itself, which is great.
Come see us at Celebration. All right. I will say now, I'll give a little plug if you've made it this far into the episode. I will be at Disneyland October 20th through the 22nd, and I'll probably be wearing Youtini stuff. So if you want to come up, and don't give me feedback like it's my birthday week, but if you want to come up and say, hey, you know what? No, fine. If you have feedback that you need to give in person, come to Disneyland October 20th through the 22nd in California and be like, hey, man, happy birthday. What's bothering me about the timeline?
If you're gonna do this, I want you to contact me because I will pay you $100 to say exactly what I want you to say. All right, just contact me and we'll make it happen
on my birthday.
Please.
Yeah, that's why we do this, man. Like, it's just so crazy to see the beginnings of the side hustle to now like the building of the community to like the weird moment of the three of us contacting Corey within the same month for various reasons.
Yeah, I know.
And to now having Mondays, we say it's cliche at this point, but it is so true. Monday nights are the highlight of my week. Like it's the time where you can hang out with our best friends and talk about the thing we love.
I know.
And
we've never missed a Monday. Knock on wood. I mean, it's been crazy. Every single Monday since
at least one of us is here.
Man. That's right. Yeah, that's how it's been.
At least one of us is here.
So I don't.
And hopefully next year you'll see us at a booth. You know. Corey, that application in.
I hope so.
If Celebration happens, that's where I'm at right now in my life.
It stresses me out thinking about have I missed the application every single time. I know we're going to be at Celebration one day. So help me God. All right, it's going to happen where we have a freaking booth. Okay, it's gonna happen one day.
We'll try to be on the podcast stage, and Lord help y'all when I'm not stuck in a chair and I just have my energy spread to the masses, and maybe we all take a shot before. I don't know. I'm not in charge.
Sneak in booze in Celebration. That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Eric. We've never been approved at Celebration. It's a great freaking idea, bro.
Well, I will say, overall, though, no cap. This is now the slightly sentimental part of the show, where sending that email to Corey is undoubtedly one of the most life-changing things that I've ever done, and has been like the constant in my life over the last 3 years. To have Youtini is something that I never remotely imagined would be something that kind of controlled the destiny of my life, and it has now been the thing that has given me kind of stability and purpose through a lot of life changes. I cannot imagine the last year that we've all had to endure without this family, without this stability. And if I can't believe how casually I just sent off that email with a hey there. Yeah. But yet it is to see this evolution go. I think every step was so necessary to get where we are now, and we're not even close to, I think, where we're eventually going to be. And I'm so stoked. Yeah.
Just baby steps so far, man.
Yeah,
that's it. It's going to be so much bigger.
I mean, I've said this 1,000 times on the show, like, and in my life, to patients and to my friends and family. It's just like, starting Youtini has had the largest impact on my life of anything that I've ever done. Like, it's so goofy that this is just a, you know, it's a nerd thing, right? It's a Star Wars, it's sci-fi, space wizards, you know, a movie for kids that we're all like obsessed with. Like, we are the nerds that are made fun of in cartoons and everything. That's us, right? Like, and you know, when you water it down like that, yeah, it's a dumb thing that we do, but like, I've learned everything from Youtini. I've learned how to be a friend and how to be a leader and how to be a manager, how to manage a team, how to do all the business stuff. Holy crap, I could write a book now just on the business stuff of taxes and legal and IP and God, I've just learned so much from this experience. And like, not to mention like the friendships, like you guys, man, dude, if I were to get married tomorrow again, to Caitlin, of course. If I were to get married, if I were to get married tomorrow, you guys would all be.
Today to get married
I know.
Tomorrow.
And if I got divorced from Caitlin and tomorrow I changed my mind and we got remarried, all right, let's just be clear.
There you go. Great.
She's gonna be yelling at me. I'm just waiting to hear it. You guys would all be in my wedding. Like, there's no hesitation.
Hell yeah, man.
You're some of my best friends. Yeah, Charles is not coming. Yeah.
Charles, it depends. If it's 3 years out, he might be able to get the day off, but you can't ask.
Yeah, I can't even.
What's amazing to me about this company is, so I will have, before I rearranged my room, I had larger bookshelves behind me with all my Star Wars books, and I would leave my camera on during work meetings, and people were like, "What's that back there? What's that back there?" And I was like, "Oh, have you seen I don't know, some kind of little movie that it's like an indie flick? Have you seen Star Wars?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, those are all Star Wars books, and I've read mostly none of them, but
But they look cool."
But I will get messages back, like after, say, a video meeting is over, from people who are like, "Hey, I think we're kind of in the same boat." This buddy of mine, he sent me a picture of like all these Legends novels, like 30 of them, and then like one of my directors of marketing was like, "Hey, are those like Star Wars helmets behind you?" I was like, "Uh-huh." And then so we talked about Star Wars for 50 minutes of an hour meeting, and then 10 minutes it was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this and that on this marketing thing." That's it. And so what it seems to me is like it helps people break out of their shell. We're not. I mean, we're all nerds here and everything, but we're not the same type of nerd. We're all different nerds, you know?
Yeah.
And it helps people to relate, because we're all different, and you can like Star Wars like a lot. You can like Star Wars a little, as long as you like it, and you're not afraid to say, "Hey, I watch those movies, I read those books, and I'm not afraid to admit it."
Yeah, I think that is like what Youtini is. If you were to water it down into the barest bones that it is, Youtini should make you feel like you can be like unequivocally yourself, right? Like truly, and that's what it's taught me. Is like, I just am the Star Wars guy in life now. Like, I am not afraid of that. I'm not embarrassed by that. Oh, you think Star Wars is dumb? Wow, that's kind of a shit take. Like, that's just how I feel all the time now. And like, you're right. It's a weird common denominator for people. There's a lot of people that are like silently and quietly, secretly into Star Wars, and it's wild.
Yeah, and that is a huge shift that I've noticed in my own life too over the last 3 years. Is like, being the proud Star Wars fan has also been tough, because there's the public persona of Star Wars fans is always the combative Star Wars fan, whether that's combative like pro sequel or anti sequel, or like it is naturally, when you hear someone say they love Star Wars, you're about to get in a fight over something. And I think that's what's been so great about this community for me too, is realizing, oh, I can be a Star Wars fan without having to be angry all the time. Like, I can just drown out the noise and yet still have friends that want to talk about it. Like, because I don't have to just be in the negative discourse. I don't have to be just angry about this thing. And I can just have this be a positive beacon in my life, especially at a time when there were not a lot of positive beacons in our lives. You know, like, life's been really hard. Like, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. And it's just so incredible that a thing that could have fizzled out and basically did almost fizzle out completely restarted it, and has like shifted the brain chemistry of us that now indulge in it. And I hope that all of you listening, it has helped you. And God, if it helps you in 5% of the way it's helped me, like what a gift.
For real.
Yeah. If I've said it once, I've said it realistically 5 times on this podcast. And Youtini as a company and as like a brand, or really as like a culture, if you will. Yeah. The point of it is boiled down to the line from Force Awakens, Chewie, we're home. Like that's the feeling that we want you to have when you're a part of this community. That's the feeling that we have when we're a part of this community. And to reference another very famous film series, this used to be fueled by money. Now it's fueled by family. Okay. And family, as we learned from Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious, can accomplish anything. So if we've made it this far, look out, because we're not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah.
Realistically, like I've thought about this a lot, because like when you build a business, you're supposed to create an exit strategy, right? Like that's like a key principle, right? I don't realistically oh my god, I don't realistically see a way that I'm not doing Youtini in some capacity for the rest of my life. Like I don't know how that
we would be so pissed.
I would be bored. Like what am I gonna do if I can't learn about something crazy and new to help people to get into Star Wars books? Like I don't see how it's ever gonna happen.
You can only build so many campers, Corey.
That's the key.
And be able to feed your family.
But also, even then, who would you tell about them?
Camper and family is fleeting, but Star Wars is forever.
I mean, we talk about it all the time too. You know, is that we happened to start up in 2019 this Star Wars website database at a time when all of Star Wars publishing was like, you know what? What if we just do the most crazy inventive stuff we've ever done and also publish all the books we can, and they're also all New York Times bestsellers? And we're like, oh, cool.
Also, Jacob in the chat just said, imagine Corey trying to hand the maintenance of the website off to someone else.
Oh, no, Corey has threatened me all the time saying, like, because I'm the president of the company, is like, oh, if I go, you're done. I'm like, I don't know how to open up the coder. I don't know how to do any of it.
One lesson that all entrepreneurs need to take to heart, and you've probably heard this if you're interested in this type of stuff before, but don't make yourself invaluable to the company. Don't do what I have done. All right, don't do it.
That's a mistake.
Yes, all the technical genius. You know, I don't know. Never been able to outsource that. I've tried many times. We had lots of folks on the team that have come and gone that have been technical geniuses and never stuck. Only me forever.
All right, fellas. Here we're rounding the bend here. Corey, I see you put in the outline here. Where are we going? So, Corey, you've been driving this boat. I want to start with you, Corey. You've seen literally day one the sketch of the logo to now the 130 live shows, the reviews, the community of thousands of people. Where do we go? And this is not the plan necessarily. It's just
I don't know.
In your
off
mind.
the cuff.
Where do we
off
go?
the cuff. Where do we go?
Off the cuff.
I don't know, man. I mean, we are very quickly becoming the authority on Star Wars books on the internet. Like we really are. I mean, you search for Star Wars books in any way, you can reword that however you want to, and we're the top result in Google next to Wikipedia right now. Like, I mean, it's pretty. I don't know. I mean, that's always been the goal, is to be the authority on Star Wars books. You know, I would like to. I want to go to Celebration. I want to be a face at Celebration, like not as a guest, I want the behind the scenes passes. You know, like what's it, Wayne's World, where they're like, what do they say? What do they say? I forget what they say, but whatever. I want that, right? I want to be in. I want to be in with the publishing. I want to be in with the new books coming out. And I mean, I already feel like I've made it. Like I've got a bunch of friends. I've got what I've always wanted, right? I have people that I can talk about Star Wars with. I'm on a podcast every week. Like all my dreams have already come true, man. Like the future is what we make it. Like it really is. Like I don't know where we will end up going, but you know, I'll be happy to be there. I can tell you that.
Oh, damn, that's good. Wes, what do you think, man?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm working really hard not to spoil any more books for the rest of the time that I'm here.
The ultimate goal.
That is what I'm trying to do for you all that are watching this podcast from here on out. I will work.
Wow.
I'm not going to promise. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm going to work real hard not to do it. And I tried today with Plagueis, and I said that he did that Sidious did some diabolical shit. And then Corey goes, well, I'm going to spoil it for you. Everybody, it's already in this and that. And he killed his parents. And I was like, God, I was just holding back. And then, because
It's practice.
I was squeezing my armrest really hard not to say it. I mean, you just let
Wes,
it out.
In the words of Allen Iverson and Ted Lasso, we're talking about practice. Practice, not a game. Practice.
Yeah.
I just hope to be here and hang out with you guys on Mondays. Man, that's just
great, man.
that really is the highlight of the week. Everybody hates Mondays. I like Mondays, especially Monday afternoons, you know? So I really hope we keep this going. And when you were talking about the book boxes, I mean, there were a lot of people that were behind the scenes. I remember reading an article from Heather in the Youtini magazine, and Meg was there writing all these articles too. So there's a lot of people
Carl, Carl's been
behind
around
the
for a long
scenes.
time.
Carl, there's so many people behind the scenes.
And you were there.
And you were there. Golly! All right, so
Golly, Carl. All right, Charles, where are we going, man?
I think pretty obviously we're on a trajectory for a reality TV show here pretty soon.
We should get one of those like TikTok star houses where we all live together in the same house and just film TikToks together.
I think that's what we're doing.
Hey guys.
No, I really, honestly, the next thing that's on my agenda, if all of this has been created by us virtually having never met, God help the world when we all actually get together in person, because the ideas are going to flow. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but big things for sure.
Yeah, I think that's similar to me. Is that I think like you said, Corey, we've already done so many things I could never dream of. Like, I got some of my best friends in the world. I got a community larger than I ever could have thought that is full of such amazing people. And I think, I love the idea of us, like, just geographically being closer where we can, like, go into a place and do, like, live podcasts together, or just hang out, like, more live and do it on a way that is just more invented together. I think just is that personal element. And I think that I also just want to make sure that going forward in the next 5-10 years, people are like, oh yeah, like Youtini is the place I go and I just feel great about it. And I like hanging out there. And if we can give you some advice, that's awesome. But mostly if you can just jump into our Discord or watch a video and just feel happy and taken care of, like, what a gift. That's so cool. It's something that I never thought I'd be able to do. And now I get to do it with some of my best friends with the thing that I love the most. And, I mean, one day we're going to get that Bail Organa 10-book series, and God help y'all for when that switches out. So
we're going to be
you're
going
to do that round table, right,
It's
Charles?
been an hour and 50 minutes. Shut the hell up, bro.
And
Like,
then
it's
he
Bail.
did.
It's like, okay, Jesus. That's what's going to happen.
yeah. And then also, I mean, when we go to Celebration, to go to some authors and be like, hey, you want to grab a beer? I like your work. They're like, oh, yeah, Youtini. Like, that'll feel great.
Dude, I just
That'll
want
feel
a
great.
cup of tea with George Mann and Kevin Scott. That's all I want this week.
All we want, man.
I know.
But we'll get there. And of course, it's all going to happen because of all y'all that supported us along the way, of all the steps we've taken. We hope you've enjoyed this look down memory lane of what we've been. And I can't wait to do the next one in a few years to see, oh my gosh, what we've done. But y'all, that is going to do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. Next week is the Tempest Runner Roundtable. Make sure you got that listened to and you're ready. And we want to thank everyone on our Patreon for supporting us, especially Shale Bell, OK Endar, Jeremy Kazina, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and Elizabeth Cloutier, Jason Mitchell, Freddie C., and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter. I am at Eric Eilerson. Corey is at Doc Star Wars MD. Charles is at C. Henkel. Wes is at Boss Wes. A special thank you goes out to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Corey, Charles, and Wes for podcasting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you for listening. Thank you to Mason Crosby, who only has 2 fantasy points so far. And as always, may the force be with you. See you in 5 years.